Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we're going to start this episode off with some breaking news from NASCAR themselves. NASCAR announces today that starting after Talladega Superspeedway in the next episode, the Cup Series will have engine regulation changes. This decision comes after a lengthy investigation into both Gordon Hendrick Motorsports and the McLaren team. NASCAR found that none of the teams were cheating, but instead found a loophole in the rules. So that obviously is a no-go still nonetheless, but no penalties are going to be handed down. It has not been told openly what the teams were doing, but it is due to with extra horsepower in the engine. So these regulation changes could completely change the outcome of the whole season. You might see McLaren start struggling. You might see our Gordon Hendrick team, who's dominated so far this season in the win column, start struggling. So something that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on over the next few episodes leading into these regulation changes. So we come into the racing part of the episode, and only one race today. It's at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Cup Series here with the Razor Flames back on the car here. We've been running this paint scheme quite a bit, and all of a sudden I realized that we only have maybe one or two chances to continue this dominance with this Gordon Hendrick team before we move on to these new regulation changes starting after Talladega in the next episode. So Talladega, of course, going to be a good opportunity to potentially get our teammate of Alex Bowman to victory lane. That's kind of what we're focusing on now as we hit a 29.807 for qualifying, which would put us P24 here for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway as we look at the qualifying order here on your screen. So obviously not the greatest effort for us, but I was still pretty happy with that because I know we're in the race. We're going to be a lot faster. But you see Derek Kraus on the pole along with Harrison Burton there in second place. Rounding out the top 10, you had Kyle Busch. Out in the top 20 was Joey Logano. Noah Gragson down there, P29. And then in the very last spot there, we had Todd Gilliland. So now time to get ready to go for the race here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on from this news from NASCAR announcing that we are, like I said, going to have some regulation changes. It's going to be a big hit for some teams, but at the same time, it's going to be a big opportunity for some teams. You might be able to see a Joe Gibbs Racing come back up top here because they've been struggling. It's no secret. They've been struggling ever since Denny Hamlin left the team last season, and they look to turn things around. You might see a team like AlphaTauri step it up, or even Front Row Motorsports with that Mercedes engine. They might be able to step it up as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that here as we get ready to take the green flag. Now, as the green flag is out here from the Quick Trip 400 or 500, as we get underway from Atlanta Motor Speedway, you might notice there's a bit of an audio delay from the raw gameplay. I don't know what happened there, but it's off by I think about a second or two. So just keep that in mind. It shouldn't really be an issue. You might notice it on the restarts, but that is really the only time. So thank goodness it was only just like I said, a very small issue. Not sure what caused it, but hopefully we won't have to deal with that in the next episode at Talladega. Now, as we're 3 wide in the middle on this first and opening lap of this race, we got the number 12 of Chase Briscoe on our outside, Christopher Bell on the 17 on the inside, Logano there in front of us, our rival who's on the inside of the number 20 of Rajah Caruth. But we get now down to the inside after we got past Max Gutierrez here. So just trying to work our way forwards, get to this inside and just make that ground up, because if you just hook it around the bottom at this track, you really make up a lot of time very quickly here. So just trying to stick on the bottom basically, and it was working pretty well here. As you can see, we're already into the top 20. And then as we came through to the start of lap 3, now making it 3 wide with Joey Logano up in front of us. We got Kyle Busch here as well as Kyle Larson and a McLaren of Eric Jones. Now is Lewis Hamilton on my outside. He was really fast early in this race, so I was keeping an eye on him, but we just continue moving our way forwards. Now 3 wide with Kyle Busch as well as that number 7 of Eric Jones, who passed him into turns 1 and then get up the inside of the number 23 of Bubba Wallace. And now we're already about to be in the top 10 after now just 3 complete laps in this race after starting outside of the top 20. So just showing the speed in this car. We knew we had something coming into this race. We always have legitimate speed when it comes to Atlanta. Of course, our Xfinity team was strong there. Our Truck Series team very strong there. We won that race in the Truck Series with the Going Racing team, but now we pass Ross Chastain, move up into that 10th position and just continue on. And this is all happening within the first 5-6 laps of this race. Now we get past the AlphaTauri of Brandon Jones to the back of Ryan Preece, and we would waste no time getting past him either. And 1 lap later on lap 7 down into turn 3, we would be able to make a pass on him as Alex Bowman was currently leading the way. And if Alex can't win today, we're pretty much setting our whole focus in the next episode of Talladega on pushing Alex Bowman to victory and get him into the playoffs. Now, as you see me make a bit of a mistake there out of turn 2, get to the outside while the caution actually comes out for the first time here on the day, forcing everybody into the pit lane as Zane Smith currently leads the way over Alex Bowman, but obviously 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel was all we needed to do, and I was pretty confident with the car, so I just stuck with the current adjustments that we had in it. But like I mentioned, Alex Bowman is absolutely crucial. We try to get him to victory lane in the next episode at Talladega, because with these regulation changes, you could very well see our team fall off a bit at Gordon Hendrick Motorsports, and that would mean we would have to spend the rest of the regular season just trying to build our cars back up to where they are at now, where we've won 9 races already this season, which is an unbelievable amount compared to last season. Last season, we were the only winner for Gordon Hendrick, and I think we won, 4 races. So now, not even halfway through this season, and Gordon Hendrick Motorsports has won 9 races after we've only won 3, so it's an unbelievable season so far, nonetheless, for this team. Just very, very happy about that now, as you see myself here up on the outside through turn 3 and out of turn 4, just trying to make up that ground on the outside. Is very tough to pull that off, and now we were under attack from Lewis Hamilton in that 44 car. He's been very, very strong this season on the ovals. Definitely going to be a playoff contender, Lewis is this year. But can he get to victory lane? That's really the big question. I don't know if he's quite fast enough to be able to pull that off, but it would be one heck of a story if Lewis Hamilton can find a way to win one of these NASCAR Cup Series races, as Harrison Burton for Joe Gibbs Racing found himself up front. Now, as you look to the inside of Chase Elliott, of course, a little bit of salt when we're racing around McLaren right now, because if it wasn't for them launching an investigation on us, none of us would have been in this regulation change place in the first place. So that was frustrating, of course. Now, as we came through to just 10 laps to go in stage 1, I was in this battle with Elliott, but unfortunately, I just couldn't quite complete this pass on him. I continue to try, as you see me going to turns 1, actually, though. We get on the apron, slide 3 wide in the middle. Hamilton goes through on the inside. Elliott gets by on the top, and now we drop back down into 9th place. So not the corner we were looking for, but we would just stay focused as we came through to 5 laps to go in stage 1, and once again trying to make a move on this 9 car of Chase Elliott as we came through out of turn 2 to the inside at his quarter panel. Not going to be quite enough right there here, as we give him a nice little push now down towards turns 3, and that's going to allow him to go up the inside of the number 45 of Derek Kraus. So we're just going to try and follow through right here and settle in, and then try to make that move on Chase Elliott here. So we're going to actually make it 3 wide, though, down the front straightaway instead, with 4 laps to go in this first and opening stage. We kind of forced the 9 car out of it there. I was kind of frustrated. I just wanted to get past him, get him out of the way, get that dealt with. So then we easily, though, get alongside that 45 of Derek Kraus, and we'll go down this back straightaway into turn 3 and complete the pass on him. So now up into 7th place, but then with just 3 laps to go in the stage, Elliott gets past Kraus and then looks up the inside of me through turns 1 as well as turns 2. So he puts that pressure back on, and we just kind of had this little scrap here, but then I get the outside wall out of turns 2, so I make that mistake right there. But that was not the end of the battle. As we came through now into turns 1, the next lap, 2 laps to go, we now go up the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott, kind of clip the apron right there. We get close to his door, but we keep it clean, and then into turn 3. Now we clear him and hit the apron again, though we go for a bit of a slide up the track, and now a crossover from Chase Elliott up our inside. Zane Smith leads the way to the white flag in stage 1, and now as we scrap it out side by side with Elliott for the 8th and 9th, or 7th and 8th spot. Obviously not going to play it nice with the McLaren driver right now and former teammate here of ours, as we go back up the inside as we come through out of turns 2 down this back straightaway. Lewis Hamilton took the lead on the final lap of stage 1. What a charge through the field. He had a very impressive run, and he leads the way as we get clear of Elliott through turns 3 and out of turns 4. This time we stay in front as Lewis Hamilton wins stage 1 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. We cross the line for a solid 7th place finish here in stage 1. So can't complain about P7. I overall felt like that was pretty good considering we started outside of the top 20. Of course, Lewis Hamilton is right now on another level, and I was literally just talking about it earlier that I was like, I don't think he's got the speed yet to win races, but obviously right here, right now, he's trying to prove us wrong with his performance in stage 1, as you see Todd Gilliland at the very bottom of the order here as we get ready to go green for the start of stage 2. We gain 1 spot on the pit lane, overtaking Christian Eckes, who will be alongside our Gordon Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Alex Bowman, as Lewis Hamilton and Zane Smith lead the way back to the green flag as we are underway for stage 2. And now in Atlanta, it's time to get amped. There you saw it all in amped, all the action here from the start of stage 2. Lewis Hamilton continues to lead the way. We really didn't make much progress whatsoever there in the first couple laps of the second stage, but here we are side by side with the McLaren rival of ours. I consider the whole McLaren team at this point rivals of ours, but we still try to race them clean, but as well try to be a lot tougher on them compared to other drivers in the field on other teams. But Sam Mayer, he was giving it right back, battling very hard on that outside, and actually would remain in front of myself here for the time being. So then we came to the lap 4, and now Chase Elliott had actually gotten back to me, looked up my inside as we went down this front straightaway with just 19 laps to go in stage 2, but the caution comes out for the second time on the day due to a potential incident. For some reason, for all of the cautions in this episode, I couldn't actually find them in the replays, but it looks like it was potentially Bubba Wallace in that 23 car as he is coming into the pit lane, but then again, Jimmy Hill as well is coming into the pit lane. So not sure. It was one of those two as we get ready to go back green. So nobody came into the pit lane there. We stayed out, get ready to go back racing side by side with that 66 of Sam Mayer as we are back underway here. Now as we have a bit of a checkup on this outside line. Now is actually a very big checkup here as we're going to lose quite a bit of ground. Elliott's going to go by, and here goes the number 7 of Eric Jones. The 2 of Ryan Preece is just going to haul the mail right on past us, and then the 42 of Reddick, the 45 of Kraus, and the 33 of Austin Cindric are all going to go by on the inside. Now as we actually fight back though with Austin Cindric down this back straightaway into turns 3 as well as turns 4. Now as we're going to try our best to just maintain in this second lane, and this gave myself a good idea of what we can do on lane number 2, and well, we lost a spot to like position number 11 or 13 even that was now as we go down towards turns 1. So wasn't confident with that second lane. Now was behind us, a little bit of pressure from our Gordon Hendrick teammate of Kyle Larson, and a bit surprising to see Kyle Larson struggling like this today, a guy that's won now 4 races on the season. He's been putting up a stellar performance. Obviously, we stole that win away from him in Richmond last episode, which would have put him in victory lane 5 times. You think about the Sonoma race he choked away with 2 laps ago. That would have been 6 wins at least Kyle Larson had on the season at this point. So he's been having an incredible season, but as well another guy that could be very well affected by these regulation changes being on Gordon Hendrick Motorsports. Who maybe doesn't want to be affected by these regulation changes right now is Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. Right now they're having a tremendous run leading the way in Atlanta as we come through out of turn 2. But that's the thing to keep in mind is these regulations just don't affect Gordon Hendrick Motorsports and McLaren. Although we were the 2 teams investigated, NASCAR has found it's an issue as a whole, and they are going to just do it sport-wide. So every single team's affected by this, and you could see, like I said, Gordon Hendrick McLaren fall off, but we could also see Front Row Motorsports get good, or Red Bull get better than they already are, get worse. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. I've been working with Lation to correct some driver ratings, and you guys will see those in the coming episodes after Talladega. Now, as you can see, pit stops had started to happen. I had a different plan for the green flag cycle right here. We have 3 wins on the season. I decided we're just going to stay out as long as we can here. So now, as we came through leading the way on lap 18, things were looking great. I decided, though, to pit on the end of lap 18 because the tire icon was on. But then the caution actually comes out again here in Atlanta. This time, though, it doesn't really help us because the drivers that had pitted, we hadn't lapped them yet. So we are actually going to lose positions here, unfortunately. And then there's some drivers currently still on the pit lane that are going to be able to stay out here. You do see there is quite a few drivers though still trapped a lap down, including our teammate of Ryan Blaney, but we dropped down 17 positions into 18th place because of that. So all of a sudden, instead of fighting for a stage victory, well, we're now trying to just try and get to the top 10, and we only have 2 laps to do that as we're alongside Daniel Suarez there. Now we're going at racing the Yellow Heart Chevrolet Camaro. Suarez definitely not having a good season. Last season, he won this very race in the career mode. So obviously, you look at what they're doing today, they haven't even been in the mix, and they haven't even been in the mix all season long. It's kind of unfortunate, but hopefully with these regulation changes, although it is a Hendrick or Gordon Hendrick Alliance team with Going Racing, I'm hopeful that this could be an opportunity for our team to step up the performance, but we still obviously have no idea what's going to happen here as we come through out of turns 4. Now we're going to try and make it 3 wide with Briscoe as well as Reddick, and it works as we start the final lap of stage 2. Sam Mayer leading the way as we go down into turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Still 3 wide, but we pushed a little bit too hard, and up to the outside wall we go. Kyle Larson goes by on the inside. It was 4 wide for a quick moment, I think, and now we go back down to 23rd place. We're back to where we started earlier in this race now as we're going into turn 3 for the final time, and that caution as much as we were hoping it was going to help us by staying out late, well, staying out late ended up just messing us completely over as we crossed the line for 23rd place here in Stage 2. That just goes to show that no matter what strategy you play in NASCAR Heat 5, something can always screw it up, because obviously I've done the short pitting strategy a lot of times, and we've seen that bite us in the back with a caution, but then that time we tried to stay out as long as we could, and well, that bit us too. So now down in P23 as we come back into the pit lane. Obviously you can see there some drivers not pitting, but obviously I could only lose 2 spots, so I decided to just come in, top up on fuel, and that also means that once again we can stay out longer than the competition just did there on that pit cycle. But I don't know if we want to, after considering what literally just happened. Alex Bowman, he's now back on the lead lap here in P26 currently as we go down into turns 1 and 2. Sam Mayer, who won stage 2, leading the way out of turns 2 now as we get up the inside just about to that 23. Bubba Wallace now making it 3 wide with him, and Caruth there for a second. Now Christian Eckes on the outside, and Bowman's going to follow through as well as we go down into turns 3. So a lot of work to do here in this final stage, and we only have about 27 laps to make it happen, but we are going to be aggressive there. That was a bit risky. I could have got on the apron and spun the car out. Thank goodness we did not, as we go down this front straightaway, moving forward very quickly once again, just like we did on the very beginning of this race there. But I clipped the apron through turns 1, slide up the track, but up in front you see Chase Elliott making a pass on his teammate of Sam Mayer there and moving up into the lead now, as I actually left the door open on the inside. That allowed Eckes to go through as well as Alex Bowman. So now we're back down to P21. I'm now trying to actually push the 48 forwards and see if we can gain him some time, because I knew Alex had a fast car. He was running up front. He led some laps earlier in this race, so I know if everything works out for him, he could win this race, and we don't have to go to Talladega looking just to try and help our teammate of Alex Bowman. Unfortunately, though, Alex didn't quite seem to have that same speed that he did earlier in this race, and you're going to see that here in a few moments time now as I go up the inside of Suarez right there, move up into the 16th position, once again clipping that apron out of turns 4 there. A bit of a close moment right there with the 12 of Chase Briscoe now with 23 laps to go as well up the inside of our rival of Joey Logano. Lewis Hamilton, though, found a way back to the lead in that Mercedes team, so he is now just hoping it stays green, and hopefully they can have a clean pit cycle, because we still have a green flag pit stop on the way here momentarily now before this race is ultimately decided. So you see Bowman going on the outside of Larson. He was making it work here. I was very surprised by that, and I got to the back of Bowman, and unfortunately as soon as I got to the back of him, that outside wasn't working anymore, so I now go to the inside, make it 3 wide with our Gordon Hendrick teammates of Bowman and Larson into turns 1, and now back into the top 10 we go, up into 8th, now on the inside of the AlphaTauri, up into 7th, and then to the back of Eric Jones as well as we go down this back straightaway here with just over 20 laps to go up the inside of him into turn 3, and just like that we go from outside of the top 20. Now we have fought our way back up into P6, looking for a comeback similar to last episode in Richmond. Now on lap 64 we had run down 2311 driver of Derek Kraus in that 45. We make the pass on the inside of him, and up into the top 5 we go, and now we try to run down Chase Elliott, as Derek Kraus actually is going to start the green flag pit cycle. He leads everybody in, then Chase Elliott, Zane Smith, they come in on the end of lap 65, so all of a sudden we're up into 3rd. Lewis Hamilton pits from the lead on lap 66. Of course, he just hopes it stays green at this point. Sam Mayer comes in on the end of lap 68, so we are staying out once again the longest of everybody. So I decided to come into the end of lap 69. We're going to come into the pit lane right here as we go down into turns 3 as well as turns 4. Nora Gregson just behind us going to the outside now as we get onto the apron, and we actually spin the car around as we come through out of turns 4. A huge mistake from myself, and NASCAR decides they're going to throw a caution for that, and that is going to completely mess over Lewis Hamilton. I felt so bad about this one. That was just a huge mistake from myself that only benefits myself. We just got a huge benefit off of my own stupidity, because now we get to pit and there's only 9 cars, about to be 10 on the lead lap. No words. I mean, I just made a huge mistake. I mean, I came through turn 3, I decided we're gonna pit, and then I transitioned to the apron a lot sooner and faster than I usually do, and should have, and obviously you saw the results. So we are now P7 after spinning out and pitting under caution, and now here we are with an opportunity to maybe win this race simply because of that issue right there. So Like I said, I felt bad about what had happened because Lewis Hamilton, who was on track to win his first ever Cup Series race right there, well, it's no longer a possibility because he's trapped a lap down with less than 10 laps to go. So even if we get a caution now, he has to go all the way to the back of the field here for the lucky dog. So very unfortunate there. And yeah, big apologies to Lewis Hamilton now, as we were, though, wasting no time. Look at us go up into P3 on the inside of Matt DiBenedetto on the end of the second turn on lap 74. And all of a sudden, our opportunity to win this race has become real. And I would feel so bad by winning this race, but of course I still wanted to win it. But unfortunately, out of turns 4, Alex Bowman's actually able to get up the inside here. And now as we go down this front straightaway, you see Sam Mayer coming into the mix as well. Unfortunately, the speed just wasn't there on this final run. Sam Mayer, he gets to the inside as well, no problem. Through turns 3, he goes right on by. Burton driving away in the closing laps of this race, and I was losing time. We're down to 5th place. Lewis Hamilton coming up behind myself. I realized my chances of winning at this point were over, just bringing the car home. And as we go down this front straightaway, I actually put myself in the wall trying to stay out of Lewis Hamilton's way. He goes by. He's still going to get an 11th place finish, but that was it. We come through to start the final lap in Harrison Burton and Joe Gibbs Racing. What a tough season it has been for Joe Gibbs Racing in general this season, but now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Harrison Burton leads the way down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It didn't even take regulation changes for Joe Gibbs Racing and Harrison Burton to go to victory lane out of turns 4. For the first time this season, Harrison Burton, Joe Gibbs Racing picks up the victory from Atlanta Motor Speedway as we have to come through to settle for P5. And that, even with P5, I felt pretty bad about that because obviously we completely messed up the finish of that race by that incident there. And it was the worst time possible, of course, to have it happen. So, yeah, I've said it already multiple times, but I felt so bad about it. But in the next episode, of course, that's going to be our last opportunity with these current regulations with these engines. So we're going to really have to make it count and not have mistakes like that, which are a lot harder to have those mistakes at Talladega. So we should be pretty good. But now in the next episode, of course, we do have the NASCAR Legend Series back, and then we have Talladega. We have, I believe, both trucks and Xfinity races. I think we have all 4 series in the next episode, and 2 of them are at Charlotte. We know how long those are. So we're going to be in for an action-packed episode of Dirt Series, Charlotte, and Talladega. So if you guys enjoyed, of course, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode. There you see the playoff grid right here on your screen. So Brandon Jones, the first guy out by 12. Kyle Busch in right now by 12 points. So it's getting close still, nonetheless, and I'm excited to see how this is going to change over the rest of the season. But before we end it, just want to say thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana 9302, King Matt XL, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.